original piece is 4 inches high that Bill carved, the little boxwood. From there, we do an intermediate size model. Of course, when you have something that small, you can't jump to 18 feet from 4 inches. So you have to make an intermediate scale model.
In 1983, George Rammel, a local Vancouver sculptor, and Jim Hart, a local Indian sculptor, were hired on to work on Bill Reid's design for an 18-foot Haida Indian whale to be permanently exhibited at the Vancouver Public Aquarium.
So what would the 4-foot model be made of?
It's plaster.
It's plaster.
We modeled it in clay. Jim refined the clay, and now he's going over the plaster. I'm working as the technician, scaling Bill's work up. Jim is the master cleaner-upper, and he understands the form lines and ovoids. So he's actually Bill's right-hand man for the actual forming.
After the plaster pieces are taken off, the clay is removed and the pieces are put back together to form a mold in which a plaster whale is made. The plaster mold is then chipped off.
But he's on top of every stage of the operation. It's, in a sense, we're his hands, you might say, for the project. But, you know, we're developing a certain intuition with Bill where we can, I think we're getting it pretty close to his original conception.
And especially having worked before with him, you sort of know his line and his ideas.
Yeah. It's taken quite a while to figure out what kind of cuts he likes. You know? Like I say, he changes quite a bit too. You know, he changes his ideas and what's on.
As he sees it larger, I guess he would.
It's always in a state of evolution. You know, even I'm sure the large ones will be different than the 4.5-foot models too.
So how many more stages will you go up? 4.5 foot, and then
to the big one.
Right to the 18 foot.
Yeah. Take all our measurements from the 4.5-foot model. We'll be taking some cross-section patterns and making grids, making patterned grids. And what you do is you scale up each grid appropriately to the 18-foot size. And go from there.
Oh, and put it on.
Yeah.
Full size. I mean, clay, what is it? Clay, then plaster?
And then fiberglass. The big, large patterns will be fiberglass.
That's 18 foot. You'll have
Yeah,
clay,
a pattern.
plaster, and fiberglass.
Right.
And then from that you make.
From there, the pattern gets sent to the foundry.
What about when it goes into the bronze? What kind of finishing work is then done on it? Once it's cast, you have to sort of burnish the surface? Or
They'll be welding the surface together, and Bill is very particular about his surfaces. You know, he wants these large sculptures to be as crisp and clean as a Haida bracelet.
Yes,
so you can imagine the amount of perfection he's going to want on the surfaces. Yeah, he actually wants a polished surface, or at one point he did anyway, I don't know. He may have changed his mind to a patina. But regardless, the surface has to be absolutely crisp.
Oh, yes.
So there's going to be a lot of finishing in that.